Hello. I've been talking to someone online who was saying that when she does graphite drawings, when she's finished, it all looks really faded and washed out and that there isn't a lot of contrast. And that she's having problems picking out how dark or light things are from reference photos. Because putting things down really dark can be intimidating at first. So I'm doing a video on how to make a Greyscale value finder. The value of something is just how light or dark something is. And with you can buy these as well, but you can make your own with the pencils that you use. Basically goes from dark, and I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but gradually gets lighter until it's just the white of the paper. And the little triangles, they're viewfinders. So you can put that against your reference photo and match up against the photo. But it's not colour, the colours won't match, it's just about how light or dark something is. So to get it to work properly for you, you've got to put it down on a bit of the picture, which I'll do here. Start with the darkest, and if you squint your eyes where the triangle is, you want to get the closest match, and the closest match will be the one where there's the least difference. Like you won't see the harsh triangle, and if it's a really good match, the triangle will just blend into your finder. So if you squint your eyes, you can see the darkest colour is too dark. Move along to the next one. It's still too dark. Move along to the third one. Still too dark. Move along to the fourth one. Still too dark. And now when we get to this one, you can see that there isn't as much contrast between the screen and the finder. Like if you do the dark one, the triangle's really obvious. If you go to this end, it's not so obvious. And then if you move along again, so the triangle's even less obvious with this one. Move along to that one. I can't tell how it's picking up on camera. It's between these two. Depending on which part of the picture you're on. So I'd say that one's probably a bit too dark. Probably be this one. So that's how you use your value finder. So I'll show you how to make this. So to make your value finder, you'll need a pencil or set of pencils that you want to use. Mine are the Graphic 12 by Derwent, the soft graphite pencils. There's a couple of harder pencils in there. But if you only have one pencil, that's fine. Or if you have 3 pencils, that's fine. And if you have the full range of graphite pencils, then if you want to use them, you can as well. You'll need whatever paper you're using. This is Bristol Smooth. I would normally use Bristol Vellum to work on, but I don't use this very much, so I'm not too bothered about wasting it if this goes wrong. You'll need a ruler, pair of scissors, some sort of eraser. Any eraser will do, but I've got the Derwent battery powered eraser, and I've also got the Faber-Castell kneadable eraser. As optional extras, you could also have a paper guillotine to cut the paper later, or a cutting mat with a craft knife. You might want some fixative at the end. depending on your preference. So at the last second I've changed my paper over to Bristol vellum, just because if I am going to end up pressing down hard, I don't want the to flatten the tooth of the paper too quickly, because then I might not be able to get the pencil as dark as I'd want. So I'm going to do 10 different values. If you've got a set of 20 pencils, then you might want to do 20 different values for each pencil. If after watching this you're not confident enough to do 10, you can start with 5 and work your way up. But I'm going to do 10. So you can do this as like a long one with all 10 colours in a row. I'm going to do 2 rows of 5. So if you mark off at every inch, and then I'm just going to use the width of the ruler. And then do it again. Right, so each box will be filled with a different value of pencil. And I'm just going to rub these lines out. Right, so if you get your pencils, so I was going to use the, what was I going to use? 6B HB. Actually, I'll use a 7B. And I'll use an HB. I'll just stick to 2 pencils. Right. So if you get your pencil, your darkest pencil, I'm going to start with the darkest value first. So choose a corner. I'm going to choose this one here. And you just want to fill that in as dark as you can. You don't want to be doing it with the point of your pencil like this. If you hold your pencil like that and use the side of the lead, you'll get more coverage. So when I'm talking about the paper having tooth, not damaging the tooth of the paper, you see how it's all grainy? That's because there's little valleys in the paper. Once you've flattened that all out, there's no chance of getting any more pencil on top. So when you press too hard and flatten it, you damage the tooth. You can't keep layering, so it's better to layer the pencil rather than destroy the tooth straight away. Now I've got to the point where I can see the paper isn't taking any more pencil, it's just sliding around on the surface. So I'm done with that. If you've used your pencil, your darkest pencil, and you've got to this stage and it's not as dark as you want, then in that case, go ahead and buy a darker pencil. If you're happy with it, there's no need for more pencils. If you've got build-up of pencil on your paper, see how it wasn't really taking much anymore? Don't get your hand and wipe it off. I've got a little brush, but I don't want to brush it into the paper either. I'm just going to blow it off. Right. Move on to your next box, and you want it slightly lighter than this one. So I'm using the side of the pencil to get all the coverage, and then once I've done that, I'm kind of starting to use the point a bit more to get into the tooth. Okay, now after you've done the third one, go the opposite way and start at your light. Because if you continue this way, by the time you get to your lightest value, you might find out that you've run out of boxes. So I'm going to leave this one white. Get your pencil. Use the lightest pencil that you have. And you want it just slightly lighter than the white of the paper. And if you're using different pencils, you'll feel the difference of a harder pencil. The reason we're doing it this way with the white at this end and not this end is because you still want these two values next to each other so that you can compare them. If you go from this box and then do the next one down in this box, how are you going to tell how different they are if they're not next to each other? I'm going to use a blending stump like this. Just make sure it's clean because you don't want to start darkening up or putting colour on your chart. Now I'm just using a bit of scrap paper to get the pigment off this one. Right. You could use a tissue around your finger as well. So I've rubbed that over a scrap piece of paper until nothing else is coming off it. I'm going to start with the lightest colour and just press down. Just go around and press it into the paper. And it'll just blur it out and fill it. Now you can use scissors to cut this out, or you can use your cutting mat with a knife. I'm going to use the guillotine. Right. The next step is to make a viewfinder in each square. so that when you hold it up to something, you'll be able to match the colour up. So you could use a hole punch and put a hole in each one. You could use your craft knife. You can do any shape you want. I'm just going to cut a triangle into each one.